Hello, everybody. It's Jaden. Today we are ranting, pretty much. This is more of a rant video, Penguin Zero style, most critical style. Uh, nah, but yeah, I just to make this video, I was deciding what are we gonna do. All right, what are we gonna do? How are we gonna talk about this? Let me turn myself down. I feel like I was a little loud. What are we going to do? Right? And the more I thought about it, I was like, okay, either I could script this all out and it feel very like basic and robotic, or I could just talk about it, rant. And I decided, I'm just gonna talk about it. Hold up, I did a little research, and now I'm good. I'm good to go. What the heck happened to like game media? What happened? It's kind of pathetic. Uh, so as those of you who have come from some of my more previous videos, not more previous, but my last few videos, I've been talking really only about Crimson Desert, because I'm extremely excited about it. Extremely excited about it. It has a lot of good bones and a lot of good initiative and feeling. And overall, like, there's been people who played it who've enjoyed it, right? There's been people who played it who have complained, but I've noticed the people who have complained have been have really only been the media, like the games media people, not gamers, more people who play games to make articles and stuff. Game news, right? Those are the ones who've been complaining. And I don't know, it's kind of disappointed me, right? Because I just went and watched the Is Crimson Desert Too Good to Be True? And while they're not overall hating on the game, well, there has been a few games media people who have, after playing, gameplay previews at certain events and such. I don't think lots of people understand how games work anymore, especially these people in games media. I feel like they're very, I guess, closed off. Because this is what they do, right? They rate games. They analyze games, but I don't think they even know how to enjoy games anymore. They can't tell a fun game without it being some type of breakdown of the game and the just something, right? And this isn't even just, this isn't just about the whole issue of games media being kind of out of touch with gaming, right? It's also the fact that they seem to be hateful people, and it's odd how their hate like shows. So I've been going through and I've been looking a lot at the media stuff, the news articles, that stuff, right? Videos that like IGN and Game Ranks have made. I've noticed lots of the up and coming big games that were extremely enjoyed, especially from Asian markets like Kong and now Crimson Desert that's about to come out, and a few others that they kind of immediately get hated on. And even while showing that the game is probably going to be this awesome thing, and most people were overall hyped about it, it feels like when a game is actually something that people are happy about, on the other hand, games media has to be crappy and hateful, and it's odd because you can sit there and I'm going to use Crimson Desert as my example, right? And everyone's saying, is it too good to be true? It's too good to be true. This or that. I'm just going to say it like this. If this game is even 60. If this game is even 60% of what they say, right? Large open world, a bunch of exploration, combat feels good. Combat is fun to play. And let's say if they only got the combat down pat, the game's not going to be horrible because the combat's great. Yes, will they have to go over some of the fine-tune some of the other things in the world to actually make it not just, oh, yeah, the combat's really fun, but like dealing with everything else is boring. They will have to fine-tune that if that's the case, but it isn't the case because people have played combat, a little bit of exploration during, some of the sieges where you could explore and like you can find different ways through buildings, and you can skip quickly to the boss if you wanted to, right? I don't understand how they can sit there and see that and play that and complain. And even like some of their complaints are, oh, the controls are hard to understand. You're playing as a character that is like 50 to 70% done, sometimes even 80 to 90% done, right? Because don't forget, these characters have skills. They have different control attacks, like different combos you can do, and can set up when you're like farther in game. This isn't like you're playing at the very start where you're just learning the controls. These are like when regular playthrough, you would already have like a few hours in, and you would be used to the control, and you'd be used to this action, and you'd be used to that action, right? I don't know. I find it very I tried not to be mean, but I find it pathetic. It's very pathetic that they don't think anymore. And again, I'm saying they do this specifically when everyone else is very excited for the game. And then games for games that people aren't excited for, they try to uplift. Like Highguard, not a bad game. It's not, and it's doing even better now that they're getting developer advice. They're getting player advice, and they're changing their game to make it better and more enjoyable, right? Like I'm pretty sure, like within a week, everyone was like, "Oh yeah, I don't really fight many people at the maps." And that's still an issue, but also they've made it to where, now it's 5v5, so there's more people, more chance of you encountering someone from the other team. And I've actually played it a good bit. I still have it downloaded on my PC, and I was going to play it after this video, just to have some fun. It's a good game. It's not crazy. It's not something crazy new. It is a little bit, like, it's creative, but overall it's another 5-person hero shooter, right? Another team hero shooter. And they're like, when did it become trendy to hate on new games? People are allowed to hate. We live in a society where kind of hating has been the lock-on for things, right? And then when the game is kind of finally out, if it's not received well already, it could like die right there. Luckily Highguard didn't, but it wasn't because of, IGN. It wasn't because of the game media saying, "Oh, stop hating on games. Really, stop hating on games." It got a bunch of people onto it because it was the last game released at the Game Awards? Yeah, quite frankly, I suspected like a Crimson Desert trailer or like some big new game to come out. Let's be honest, Highguard isn't that. Highguard is its own little thing that, while yes, it could grow bigger and bigger, it's not some, like, it got the most exclusive spot. So, like, everyone was waiting till the end to see what big game was going to be announced, and the next thing they saw was Highguard. And while Highguard is good, it's enjoyable, it's not the greatest, but it's good, it's not what people expected. So when you see a game like that at the pretty much coveted seat in the Game Awards, you're kind of thinking, oh, well, this is gonna suck. Of course, that's fair. Like, why was it there? And I have seen that supposedly the host for the Game Awards, like, he chose to put it in that spot, and that the developers didn't actually want it there. They just wanted it in the thing, but he was like, "No, let me put this at the end because I like it." Which, hey, if he liked it that much that he believed in it, he's got it. He's got it. But quite frankly, what was that what was that their business? Why did they want to defend the game so badly while they hate on games that actually have shown far more promise? Because you got to think, no one even knew about Highguard until the Game Awards. We've known about Crimson Desert for 6 years. Originally knew it as an MMORPG. Supposed to be an MMORPG. Then they turned around and said, "Oh, actually we're changing it to a single-player game." And then we just seen more and more. Game looks amazing. It looks fun. We still don't really know how the game's gonna be running. If it's gonna be running, You know, great graphics, great everything. But we've seen enough to say, okay, this game is a game worth getting excited for. And then here comes IGN. Just like, it's too good to be true. It's too good. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? This is... I said at the end of my last video, Crimson Desert is a game we should have had 5 to 6 years ago. We should have had a game like Crimson Desert with all its initiative and all its creativity. Because while lots of people are saying, oh, it's just a little bit of this, a little bit of that, no one thought that all these things could come together and make a good game. The expansive, beautiful filled world like Red Dead. The exploration of somewhat traversal, because we have so many more modes of traversal now in the game. You know, gliding, the puzzles of Zelda, exploration, the gliding and puzzles of Zelda, combat of a fighting game, not a Souls-like, not a Elden Ring, a fighting game, a Rock'em Sock'em game. I find that so much, like, seeing it all come together. I'm like, oh, okay, this is a game for me. This is the game for everyone. This is like, I don't want to say the new Witcher, because it isn't Witcher. There's a Witcher 4 coming out, and hopefully they can do as good as Crimson Desert is doing, right? But Crimson Desert is making that name for itself as the game that's like, oh yeah, no, we're gonna do it. And part of what I talked about a lot in my last video is that the reason why we don't have things like that is because of gaming companies becoming such a big thing. Well, game development is an art. It's also a product, right? And that's kind of where it splits, because greed can turn the product into the most important thing instead of the creativity from the art. But because of, you know, Crimson Desert's situation, they have one game out, only one, and it's a giant MMORPG that has a lot of money to it. So they were able to go, hey, let's just spend these next few years making an entire different game. Oh, that game is kind of starting to feel like a single player instead of, because originally they wanted to be the sequel to their MMORPG. Oh, okay. You know, it's starting to feel like a single player. Let's not force it to be a MMORPG. Let's go with the single player and go where that takes us. And it's going amazing. It's doing great. And they have the money from the MMORPG to fund that and fund the creativity for the developers. Well, most of these other companies, Ubisoft, Blizzard, most of these other Bethesda, most of these other companies, big companies, they'd rather give you the same thing, the same art, and call it new, and expect you to buy it. And worst part about it is that they'll give you the same thing with a semi-new coat of paint, but the paint's rusted. Let's actually, since this is a rant, and I can talk about whatever I want, let's talk about a bit about Starfield. Starfield sucked. No one really enjoyed it. Maybe it had a few, like, occult followers that just couldn't let go of it. But overall, Starfield sucked. Why did it suck? Because one, the company was more worried about money, and two, they had no more creativity in that company. Their developers had no more creativity and no more lifeblood. Because guess what? They had been making the same games over and over again, or just doing minor upgrades to their old games, or worrying about getting more money by selling you microtransactions. And look where that's led us. We have Western games, greedy big companies, they suck. Actually, better yet, not even Western games. Think of Nintendo. Think of Pokemon. They've practically given us the same thing over and over and over again. And just now, they've started to, you know, step away, but they're not creative enough. They don't have enough talent anymore. But I will say, Game Freak, they're actually, they're releasing a new game. I forgot what it's called. I'll pull it up later. They're making a new game that isn't Pokemon. And they've been stuck on Pokemon for so long that it's almost hard to believe because they're tired of it though. We need to let these game companies, especially not the game companies, but the developers of these game companies, the ones who sit there and they're coding the game and they're coming up with the ideas and they're designing the world, they're designing the creatures, they're designing the art. We need to give them back their power to say, and not even just their power, also their power to say, hey, we're not making another Pokemon. We're not doing another Generation 11 for the next few years. Because if y'all didn't know, there's been maybe 1 or 2 Pokemon games every year. And especially with the new Legend one, and I believe the newest Legend one either got leaked or announced, Pokemon Legend Arceus and now Pokemon Legends Z&A. Well, those are apart. I will say those have been the most creative Pokemon games in so long, but they're also apart from the main Pokemon franchise, right? You see where I'm going? They are apart from the main Pokemon franchise, and why is that? Because if they were with the same Pokemon franchise, guess what? The game would suck. And well, yes, I believe in Pokemon Legends Z&A. The mesh sucks. The buildings are like all copy and paste. They may suck, right? But at least they're showing a little bit more creativity. I'm not giving that an excuse, right? I fully believe that if Game Freak and Nintendo stopped forcing Game Freak to only do Pokemon, that Game Freak could make extremely amazing games again. And they're making one right now. And it looks really fun. It actually looks fun. I feel like we should let developers, we should remove the control of companies, shareholders and such, and let developers choose what's going to happen in game. And well, yes, this may end in like some games they're going to flop. Some games they're going to take forever to, release because they're constantly working. That's fine. Let me take these headphones off because I noticed I didn't even need them. That's fine. That's completely fine. We do not need large companies constantly sitting there going, or shareholders even, just going, that mechanic. I don't know, it seems kind of new. Scrap it. What the heck? Or, I don't know if people enjoy that. You're not a gamer. And even if you are, how are you going to say, just you are going to say that no one else is going to enjoy that? Because guess what? Lots of games, even when they fall off, they still have like a small group of people who enjoy them. Suicide Squad killed the Justice League. I'm pretty sure still has a few people playing it to this day. And that game hasn't even gotten new updates since, what was it? The last one where they added Slade. Quite literally, no matter what, you're gonna be able to make some type of money off these games. The issue is for this is more for the big companies. The more you try to make, right? The more you push. I need more. The more you're gonna lose. The more you get comfortable and you don't make new creative systems and you use the same basic stuff, and the less you refine the things you're doing. Because guess what? I'm gonna be honest. I could deal with 35 new Assassin's Creed games as long as each and every one of them is refined and more refined than the last one that came out. And what do I mean by refined? Systems are upgraded. Mechanics are tweaked and made better. Stuff like that. If it's refined, I would be fine with that. But when it comes to Ubisoft and Assassin's Creed, the last 2 or 3 games, other than like the VR one, sucked. Valhalla, not that good. I like, Norse mythology, and I did enjoy it like for a little bit, but overall the game's not that good. There's too many issues. It's fairly clunky. What was it? Assassin's Creed was it Shadows, started out good. Everything they were showing was great. And then as soon as the game got its like good votes in, just all quality just dropped. The newest friggin' DLC that they added, the one with what was it? The Attack on Titans. It sucked. It sucked. And that's so sad. Because I know they can do better. I've seen them do better. What was in Mirage? Mirage was great. Origins was great. What happened? Like, and the thing is, the worst part is that the media, the gaming media, will shill for those games. They'll say, oh, this game's great, you should buy it. And then when actual innovative games come out, either indie. Remember, there was a whole time where they were trying to cancel indie games. Indie games are good because they show that small groups of people with enough time, enough dedication, and enough creativity can do far better and far more than even these AAA, quadruple A, quintuple A companies in less time and better quality. How sad is that? Crap, didn't Silk Song just drop? And it was doing, it did amazing. It's still doing great. Didn't it? It did great. By the way, I'm pretty sure only 3 people made that game. 3. And we have these companies who have thousands of people working, right? Thousands. And they can't do anything good. And I'm not saying it's the quantity. I don't believe those companies should be laying off people. You know what they should be doing, though? They should be letting those people be creative and do what they like to do and work together and let their artistic juices flow to make good games instead of AAA slop that sucks. AAA slop that will never get us anywhere. Because guess what? I would say since Witcher 3, we've been stuck in the same place. We've had a few good drops here, a few good drops there. Here's a good drop, but nothing has been big time good other than AAA games. Oh, indie games, not AAA games. The issue is AAA companies shilling and being horrible. These companies could do so much better if they would just stop, looking at the dollar sign and looking at the art process and looking, and saying, hey, what would be new and innovative that we could add to the game? What would be new? What would be enjoyable for people? What could really bring people to this new game that we're developing? And guess what? If they tried new things. And even, I'm saying try new things. Even if they mashed 2 different ideas together, right? They mashed it together. And they thought about it, and they processed how it would work together, and they actually made it work, and it was a good game, instead of the same thing 8 times till Sunday. Guess what? Those companies would grow, AAA companies would grow, because more people would be actually wanting to play their games, and you actually release something of substance, not something to make fun of. Imagine if every time a AAA company announced a game, showed some gameplay trailer, or showed some gameplay, and then released the game, no one could stop talking about it. Not everyone, because there's always going to be haters. There's always going to be people who are like, well, it's not that good. But imagine if most people could sit down and just enjoy your game, instead of there being hit pieces out on every YouTube channel, talking about how bad the game is. And again, I'm using Crimson Desert as an example because it's my opinion. It's one of the best games that are coming out in the last 6 years, 6 to 5 years. And quite frankly, I believe it's gonna win Game of the Year for this year. It's ambitious, and I fully believe in the creators who are making this game that they will do great. And even if the game's a little clunky at start, y'all don't know nothing about Pearl Abyss. They do weekly updates. They do weekly fixes. I'm not worried about, what they're doing. because I know they're gonna do good, and I know they actually are dedicated and they can do hard work. I'm more worried about how crappy the media is, because they don't know what the heck they're talking about and they're disconnected, and how sad and pathetic the larger game industry is, the AAA games. I feel like I shouldn't feel bad for them, because they could do better and they should be doing better, quite frankly, but they aren't. And why is that? Because they're greedy, majority of them. The sad thing is that the second people start saying, we're not gonna put up with your crap anymore, the second that gamers actually say, hey, I'm not gonna pay for this, I'm not gonna buy this game, it looks like everything you've released in the last 10 years, it's the same thing over and over again, they'll say, oh, it's the gamer's fault. And they won't learn the lesson, because, to be fair, most of these game companies, their shareholders and everyone who is, up top and making the full decisions instead of being creative, they're greedy and they're narcissistic. And they don't understand, hey, maybe it's your fault. Maybe it's your fault that these games are falling flat because you have no soul. Art is all about the soul. If you got no soul, how the heck are you going to make art? Because gaming is art. Video games are art. I want to become a game developer. More than likely, I want to be an indie game developer who makes worlds that I see in my own head. I've had a few ideas of what I wanted to make, of stories and creatures and solar systems that I've wanted to share through the format of gaming. And, it makes me sad because, quite frankly, again, I'm going to say it, Crimson Desert is everything I think I've ever wanted from a game. And I used I kind of used this as an example in my last video too. Crimson Desert feels like Sword Art Online. The game in that anime where you can do things, you can learn things. The more you do something, the better you get at it. The more you practice it. And by the way, while yes, the base stuff, everyone's going to share, right? Everyone's going to get in the game. But there's going to be plenty of people who've only met this one boss, or only got this one artifact, or only got this one weapon that other people have not really found yet. And then they're playing that, and guess what? Everyone's first playthrough of Crimson Desert is going to be completely different. It's going to be completely different. Like, this isn't going to be the playthrough where, oh, yeah, we're all doing the same exact thing. No, that's not what's happening. It's not some rigid line. It's a tree. You all start the same. You start from the same base, but you branch out. Let's say one player, they decide, you know what? I'm going to go to that giant temple all the way on the northern side of the map. Or this person, I'm going to go to this ravine on the eastern side of the map. I'm going to go to this giant and flamed castle on the western side of the map. That is what this game is. You all get to start as the same, but your story changes by your decisions, whether you understand it or not. It may have a set story, but how you play it is going to be extremely different. I love that. I love it. Okay. Maybe it is getting late. So, I think that'll be it for today. If you enjoyed this, please tell me. I would not mind doing more rant videos like this. It's honestly kind of fun. Yeah. I hope you had a good day. I hope you enjoyed this. Yeah. Peace.